It is I, the demiurge of RPGs, returned to speak to you of the Swashbuckler. That's right, page 11 of the Complete Warriors for Dungeons and Dragons. The Swashbuckler class is a class I find a little on the odd side. It seems there are a few things if I was in the production meeting, if I was in the design team, that I would have, been smashing my head against somebody's nose. But let's examine those. I had a player play one of these. The Dungeons and Dragons game I ran. He was a beguiler / swashbuckler character. Character has D10 hit points, which to me, I think D8 or maybe even D6. They definitely feel very roguey, very light. They have 4+ intelligence for skills. I think that's too low. Should be 6. I mean, they'll make the ranger trade D8 hit points, 6+ intelligence for skills. I think that'd be better. Class skills are also low. They need a few more. Definitely need some stealth skills in there. You have bluff, diplomacy, and all sorts of acrobatic skills, which are great. Those all, of course, make sense if you want to buy that sort of thing if you're playing a swashbuckler type of character. One of the downsides to a swashbuckler, particularly being on the fighter side, is you can really pull all this off with a straight basic rogue right out of the player's handbook and throw like one level of fighter on him, maybe 2. You can easily do a swashbuckler. Sure, you don't have the exact abilities of this swashbuckler, but you have enough to give you the flavor and feel, particularly depending on what feats you buy, to have that swashbuckler type character. I always like additional base classes, though, so I'm not going to bash it too hard for the fact that you can pretty much do everything you have here right on the player's handbook. The character receives weapon finesse at first level, which is kind of a, whatever. It's just a feat you could just buy very easily and probably would have bought, I guess, so maybe that's why they give it to you at first level for the flavor of what they're trying to go for. They have an extremely interesting ability right at 3rd level. 3rd level is like the level for this class. I could see this class, probably the majority of people who play it, dump it right after 3rd level. 4th level is a dead level as well, which is always a bad thing. I hate dead levels on characters. Like, I like just to have it something, not just a little line, or give me something, even if it sucks. Give me less at one level and a little bit more on that level you're going to give me anything on. I think it helps from a design point. I think the players definitely prefer that. Because even if you go, oh, well, yeah, but they get a save. No, players aren't looking at that. They're looking at that special column. And they're going to feel let down and cheated because they had all this other stuff. Players are spoiled. So, when dealing with someone spoiled, you got to keep giving them something. It's really the bottom line. But Insightful Strike, I really enjoy. Since the 3rd level, Swashbuckler becomes able to place or finesse attacks where they deal greater damage. She applies her intelligence bonus as a bonus on damage rolls, in addition to any strength bonus she has. So it's a sneak attack sort of thing, but you use your intelligence bonus. So say you're getting rewarded for having a high intelligence, and I really like that. I really like being able to get value out of charisma, a value out of wisdom, value out of intelligence for combat. These things in combat for real really do help you. If you know how to use them, if you know your body, if you know your mind, you can do. A fight game is so cerebral, so mental, and the fact that in role-playing games is often just reduced to your physical attributes is poor game design for people that don't understand combat. Anyone out there that understands combat, you will agree with me. Fight is so much about your mind, so much about your perception, so much about your intuitive aspects, so much about your awareness, so much about your force of personality, ability to impose yourself upon someone else. And these things are not done off physical stats. These things are your social stats, are your mental stats, and being able to bring across that in a conflict, in a confrontation, to cow an individual, to make him think twice, and maybe that's the reason you get to sneak right on his jaw and knock his teeth loose. So, all that being said, I really vibe on things that reward you for high intelligence, reward you for high charisma, reward you for high wisdom for a fighter. So I like that a lot. I love the Insightful Strike ability. It's an ability that, unfortunately, it doesn't replicate anywhere else in the game that I have seen. So you pretty much, to get it, you have to buy 3 levels of this, or just have a game master that doesn't really care. You want to buy that for a feat. Or maybe, you have to buy something else to qualify. Like you say, well, I have weapon finesse. And so I can buy a Insightful Strike. Because it only applies to weapon finesse type weapons, light weapons, spike chains, whips, rapiers, things like that. So the Insightful Strike really gives you a interesting aspect, because it sort of backdoors into sneak attack in a different way and rewards you off intelligence. And I would much rather have something like sneak attack rewarded off intelligence than I would have it rewarded just here's damage. I think the using intelligence certainly makes more sense it rewards you for your choices instead of just giving you. There's no choice involved. D6 plus a D6 plus a D6, other than buying the class. So, Insightful Strike, that style, is really overall what I would like to have seen for Sneak Attack. So, that besides, you gain some extra dodge bonuses. Of course, you're wearing light armor with this class. I didn't even look that up, but I'm sure with light armor, yep. You don't have shields, you don't have any heavier armor, you just wear light armor. And I think you get jacked on a lot of your abilities if you're wearing it. You're supposed to be swashbucklery, so you're either like a pirate or a Three Musketeer or what have you. And this is, again, a great choice if you want to play that pirate-type character. You want to play Jack Sparrow, he's a swashbuckler. There's not a base pirate class in 3.5. I'm sure in one of the many thousands of additional non-Wizard Coast books, somewhere someone has made a pirate book, a pirate class. I know in Conan they have a pirate class. But the Swashbuckler fits playing the pirate perfectly and perfectly fine. The acrobatic charge, acrobatic skill mastery, the luck, the weakening critical. I've never liked things like weakening critical that much. You like sacrifice out your sneak attack and you can do this and that and the other thing. I'm like, oh, how about they just die? How about that? Just dagger right in the eye. I can make some pretty damn good descriptions when I'm doing 70 points of damage with my sneak attack bonus. I don't need a weakening critical or something. Let me just explain how this go rock and roll. So I've never liked any of those feats. They just seem like a waste of a feat to me. Why care about doing something like not knocking the strength down when you just gonna kill him anyway? I think that I guess like for certain character conceptual designs, maybe that works. Typically tend to be a bit more on the bloodthirsty side. I don't know. I've never really found it. I know some of them, like I've seen some stacks that they come up. The problem with them is either they don't do anything really, and they don't have much flavor, or they come out just incredibly broken. You're like, well, I'm not allowed in my game, and if I'm not allowed something in my game, I'm not going to try to get over with it to someone else's game. Like, well, I wouldn't let you do that, but how about I go over like ridiculous? I don't. That's not cool. So I just try to stay away from that. So, they also have an improved flanking ability, just to get an extra bonus when flanking someone. I have a lot of issues with the whole idea of flanking. Which I don't like it, but that's another issue. So overall, Swashbuckler class. It's one I've never played. Really like the Insightful Strike. Almost guarantee I'll never play this class, but it's still interesting. I still had someone play it, and let me know if you have played the Swashbuckler, what you think of the class, or if you're like, ooh, that class is straight butt, son.